Climbers, how do you get to number 9 on the Billboard sales chart with 0 radio play? That's what we're gonna. That's what we're gonna talk about today from somebody with a track record that would be generally the most unlikely person to be behind something like this. So
that's right.
This is gonna be a great show, y'all. Hang out. Welcome to the Climb. This is a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business. When you're making miracles happen, you've got traffic, you're selling merch, you're selling tickets, you're getting streams, and you've got a buzz. That's called leverage. And everybody that you want to work with, and a bunch of people you don't want to work with are going to come to you. They're going to come out of the woodwork, and that's why we created the podcast. We want to show you that path, man, because that's the way you got to do it today. It's called The C.L.I.M.B, C.L.I.M.B, creating leverage in the music business. And that came right out of the fertile brain of my good friend and co-host, Mr. Brent Baxter, who's a hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady A, Joe Nichols. He's got number 1s in Southern Gospel. He's got top 10s on Texas radio and in Australian radio. He's nationwide. But what you really care about is he helps songwriters like you turn pro by revealing how you're going to write like a pro, do business like a pro, and then the final piece of the puzzle, he's going to get you in front of the pros. He's going to introduce you to them, give you a shot. You can find Brent very easily at songwritingpro.com.
And I would like to introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. They're breaking artists digitally by identifying new fans through data. It's complicated, but there's a lot of brains under Johnny's tall hair. If you're an artist looking to increase your streams, blow up your video views, sell more live show tickets, and get discovered by new fans, TV, and music industry pros, then Daredevil Production can help. Daredevil has worked with multi-platinum artists like Colin Ray, Tracy Lawrence, Ty Herndon, and Andy Griggs, just to name a few. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That's production, singular, no S, and there's no S because there is no other Johnny D.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, man, this is a good one. Yeah. I'm excited to share it.
This is a good one. Mostly the people that are, up to their armpits in radio hits and running record labels are not the ones that are, I guess I don't want to use the word running away from radio, but at least looking around the corner at different ways to do it, right? That just takes guts. I mean, it's very interesting. So today's interview is going to be good. And you know what? Like, because that interview kind of went a little long, like we should just get right into it, I think. And
it's so good.
Let's just jump right into it.
I guess a quick intro of our guest so they know who we're talking to.
Well, I'm going to introduce him.
Well, there you go for it.
Okay, that's what I'm going to get to. We'll handle the business stuff on the next episode, and do the shout outs and everything like that. But for years, our guest today has topped the charts with classics in the making for industry's biggest stars. Love Me If You Can by Toby Keith, Don't Blink by Kenny Chesney, People Loving People by Garth Brooks, I'm Trying for Trace Atkins, and Something to Be Proud of and Speed by Montgomery Gentry. This is a hit songwriter, bar none. A second time Climb guest.
That's right.
He was our second guest
on our third one, Song Title Challenge number 103. So the third guest we had for Song Title Challenge. So he goes in the Wayback Machine. He's a 2-time climber. We didn't run him off the first time.
If you're a long-time climber, the first 100 Song Title Challenges were just Brent and I, and they were like, we should probably bring some hit songwriters on to bring a different perspective to this, and what a blessing that turned out to be. So please help us welcome to the podcast hit songwriter and the executive partner and head of A&R at a brand new record label called Baste Records, which you can find at basterecords.com. That's Baste, Mr. Chris Wallin. Chris, well, thank you for saying yes. Chris Wallin, we got you sequestered in a hotel room down in Houston. Just got done with shooting a music video, is my understanding.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
right?
correct. That's correct. We just shot a music video for Chad Prather, and
Okay.
yeah, it's going to be really good. Yeah, it's a song that I somehow or another talked, you know, Jedi mind tricked John Rich into singing harmonies on, and so he's featured on
Nice.
it, and yeah, it's going to be really good, and it's probably going, to, you know, people. There's going to be people raising their fist. There's going to be people probably
Yeah.
raising their finger, but
Yeah. If you don't have
yeah,
that,
it's
as far
one
as
or
I'm
the other.
concerned, Chris, you ain't doing it right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Give me one or the
Well,
other. You know.
yeah, well, I figured, Chris, this ought to come out on October 8th. So I figured in the heat of election season, what a better time just to tick off half of our listenership than to have, Baste Records represented on the show.
Exactly. I mean,
Why
well,
not? I mean, our downloads have been we just need to cut them in half.
yeah, you need to cut them down here. I mean, just having my face on here, you know.
There goes the YouTube channel.
Well, I'll tell you what, like, I'll just say this from the top of it. I don't care what side of the aisle you sit on. It's all about, free speech, which means it's
Absolutely.
all about you having to be able to deal with somebody saying stuff that literally raises the hair on the back of your neck and makes you want to climb a tower with a gun. Like,
Yeah.
Not
that
literally.
is what free speech is. And not for nothing,
Yeah.
but I was thinking about this the other night. I want to point this out. But do you remember that movie? It's actually one of my favorite movies. It was called The American President
Mm.
with
Yeah,
Mike
Michael Douglas in
Douglas.
it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Mike Douglas and Annette Bening.
Michael J. Fox.
Yeah,
Why do
yeah.
I know this?
Yeah, Michael J. Because this was literally like the precursor feature film for West Wing.
Mhm.
Okay, because what's this? Who played the president on West Wing? He
Michael
was
Doug-
on West Wing. Charlie
Yeah,
Sheen. No,
Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen. And he was I think the Secretary of State or something, or like, the president's best friend in the feature film.
Oh.
But he does this speech. This is, by the way, written by Aaron Sorkin, okay, who's a huge liberal. And the words that he says at the end of that movie are fantastic, where he talks about, you want to talk about freedom, you want to talk about free speech. It means, like dealing with that, right? Dealing with somebody who's saying something so offensive to you that it just makes your blood curdle. But that's part of it, And so
nobody cares about. Here's the thing: is free speech doesn't engage until someone says something you don't agree with.
Exactly. It's like an airbag. When everything's going smooth, you don't need it.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's there, but it doesn't matter. It's when something hits hard,
right,
that it engages. Yeah, that's exactly right.
And free speech goes both ways. I mean, it's one of those things. There's, if you say something, you also have to take the repercussions of that as well. So, this is the way, and the way I said it. When actually, I said this to Newsweek about 3 months ago when we had the song out with Afro Man. Hunter Got High. I wrote the parody for Afro Man for Hunter Got High, and they asked me, they were trying to get me on this thing about how, there's what do you say that, to people that listen to that and think that you're, making fun of addicts and stuff like that. And I have friends in recovery, that love this song.
Mhm.
And I said, you know what they
Mhm.
Yeah.
tell me is it's about Hunter not getting repercussions for the things he's did,
Mhm.
and if they had have done, if Afro Man had have done the things that he done, he would be under the prison. And this is what I told him.
Right.
Yeah,
If you look at the Newsweek article, this is what I had to bring a little redneck in it. I said,
I
I
love
said, I
that.
said, here's the thing. I said, it is within my First Amendment rights to walk up to a 6'10", 400-pound man and call his mama ugly, but that doesn't unwhip
Mhm.
my ass.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
Right.
that's right.
repercussions, so you got
Right.
to know
Right.
that. But if it also
You can shuck somebody else's corn, and that
here we
doesn't
go.
preclude that your barn's gonna burn down.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
So, but that's the thing is I think that um, you know it used to be okay. I have friends that are on the other side of the aisle. We can have a conversation. We
Mhm.
they're I've honestly I've lost friends just because of what I believe, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have, but
I
let's
Mhm.
get
have.
back
Yep.
to being individuals and it being
Well, how about
okay.
this? How about this? I mean, I was thinking about this the other day too, and this isn't a political show, guys.
No,
We're
no,
going to get
no.
into
Yeah,
the
I don't
marketing
think
stuff,
that.
but
Yeah.
it's on our minds right now, and so I think we're just being real authentic here and trying to talk about it. But here's the thing: I subscribe very, very much so to the quote. Um, I may get the person who quoted it wrong. I think it was Thomas
Mm,
Jefferson that said, uh, politics and religion are two silly reasons to lose a friend,
mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Because it shouldn't be about any of that, right? Especially when you think about how, uh, when we're talking about politics and the cesspool of people that we're talking about
Yeah,
on both sides of the aisle.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're gonna get up in arms about that person. Like you're gonna
Yeah,
go and die on a hill for that, and lose a friend over a
Mhm.
that
politician,
could either
or
neither
something like
one of
that.
Yeah.
them could care less if you lived or died. Really, they don't know you. They don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, and
But I subscribe to this because I know that most people on this planet, not all, but most people on this planet, except politicians, when you're against a belief of an idea or an action or something like that, that's one thing. But what we have over the last 15 to 20 years is politicians. They're running platform is the other person sucks and they're a
Yeah.
monster. Not here's how I'm going to change, here's what I'm
Mhm.
going to do, here's
yeah,
how I'm going to help you. It's that if you vote for that person, it's bad. And
And
that
you're a bad person.
and then you're a bad
yeah,
person. And then
Yeah.
and now it's filtered down to, what? If you vote for that person, everybody that votes for that person is also really, really bad, which is like counterintuitive to everything that we've fought so hard for like diversity, equity, and inclusion, for civil rights. I mean, it's
yeah,
like, no, you can't take all these people, whoever these people are, and put them in one pile because they look a certain way, think a certain way, vote a certain way,
yeah.
it's just, no, I'm
Well,
sorry. And that's where the friendship thing becomes so weird, because it's like, wow, now all of a sudden you're worried about your identity hanging out with me. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like I
Yeah.
and to
I am
transition
strong
this,
enough in my identity to hang out with you if you are
it's
the.
so
I mean,
crazy.
I'm getting married in 6 weeks. I got some big people on the opposite side of the aisle that are staunch
Yeah, yeah.
opposite side of the aisle people, and they're standing up in my damn wedding.
Well,
Like
yeah, exactly.
I love
And
it.
this, just to kind of maybe transition this into music a little bit too, is it's okay. I think people are so repressed in the music. Oh, we can't say this. We can't say, and
Mhm.
when really but if we think about the artists that we call icons, that are great, that are people that we put up, that are the pinnacle of artists, they made sure and sing songs that reflected them as a person, and made a lot of people mad. And they sang songs that reflected their artistry, even if they didn't write them. If they're just cutting songs or if they wrote them, but that's what made them so authentic, and it brought people to them. And I think we need to bring that back on both sides. If that's the thing is, I mean, you don't have to get Baste Records. We that's kind of our strength when we do that. But you don't have to do that in every song. But people shouldn't be afraid to, especially as an artist, to be who they really are. Now we have artists. Some of the artists that you have today are their songs and their album are picked via committee.
Yeah.
And so it's a different thing, man. It is a different thing. And I always say we went, we went from 3 chords and the truth to 9 riders in a loop.
That's a friggin' t-shirt, man.
And so that's the thing is I just want to bring back authenticity, and if I had an artist come up to me the other day actually, and it was, and she was on the other side, and she kind of, let me know that. And I was like, that she was, and I was like, that's awesome. I hope you do great. I said, I'm kind of, on the other side of that, but I'm all for people being who they are through music. And anyone who says that that has no place in music doesn't actually know, the history of great music and songs that actually touch people and make them feel something. And you have to have that tension sometimes to do that, because as a songwriter, your job is to, take someone that you've never met and make them feel something that they weren't expecting to feel before they heard your song.
Or something to help them feel like they're not alone, like they're not the only one, to speak for those people, to go, oh my gosh, thank you. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, I think of the Jason Aldean song, Try That in a Small Town, which was, very controversial, but did very well as well. It's like, whatever you think about that, there are a lot of people that I'm sure have said that probably came out of, it sounds like one of those hooks that came out of conversation, watching the news going, try that in a small town.
Yeah.
Right. So it speaks for a lot of people, and for Aldean in particular, to be brave enough to go put that out there, going, this is going to speak for I'm sure how he feels, and then how a lot of his fans feel. And I think that's one thing where, it's kind of like with songwriting. I tell people, like, removing reasons to say no to your song does not equal yes.
Right.
Just writing the safe thing. Not saying no is not the same as a hell yeah, and you need a hell yeah.
Absolutely.
For people to really care. And it seems like Baste Records is going for, like, okay, we're not looking at the haters. We're looking at who's going to love this. And that's who we're focusing on. Is that part of the
absolutely
the thinking behind that and how you're doing things?
It's just like you said before, it's just all about freedom. I mean, what we just had, we won't dwell on this, but Rachel Holt, she had people that told her, the song that we just had a number 9 Billboard. She's 18 years old.
Congratulations.
Number 9 Billboard.
Congrats.
It was the first pro-life song to ever hit top 40, let alone top 10.
Wow.
And so, but all of the people in her hometown and a lot of people around her told her, do not put this song out. It's going to kill your career. It's going to, and what I told her is I said that there will be people who don't agree with what you're saying, but there's going to be people, more people usually, that is attracted to you. She went from, in 1 week, she went from, with one song, 279 Spotify monthly listeners to 35,000.
Wow.
She went from, 3,000 Instagram followers to 9,000 in like one, in one song, with one song in like 2 weeks. So
yeah, because it's compelling.
It's compelling. It's something that.
Well, isn't it fascinating that this just occurred to me right now? What is it about certain subject matters that people feel they should say it's taboo, but they don't subscribe, or maybe ascribe would be a better word, those same feelings to, they'll turn around and turn on Mr. Brownstone from Guns N' Roses, and be like, "This is the greatest song ever." It's like, oh, so you subscribe to drug addicts then?
Oh,
you think intravenous drug use is fine? Is that what you mean? Are you identifying with that? We can't be friends. You know what I mean? That's gonna tip all the addicts and turn them back into addicts and do all this. Like, no, I mean, you know
like
what?
Here's somebody listening to Strawberry Wines. Oh, you're a pedophile.
Yeah.
Okay. She's 17. So.
Right. Right. Or she's only 17.
I know. It's like,
come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fascinating to me with that, and it's like, okay, so they're picking and choosing, they're cherry picking something because what they're really trying to do is just make a point about how they feel, and it's like, hey, you get to have that, but don't tell me what to do and what not to do. I mean, there's a difference too between, how about this? Like, let's just go evil and put on our marketing and promotion hats and just be all about the dollar for a second. Okay.
Yeah, suit for a second. Yeah.
Evil. Okay. I mean, you've got Holt here, who is going to, is controversial now because of that song. But it's genuine, it's authentic, like that's who she is. And then I think about Alice Cooper and Ozzy Osbourne, who had the same manager, and they used to all sit around the coffee table in the morning, like trying to dream up ways to piss off middle American moms.
Yeah.
Because they know that's good for 1 million records. I mean, that's contrived controversy.
Right.
Like it's so over the top.
Controversy.
Yeah, it's so over the top with the with the imagery and it's a show, man.
Yeah.
And here it's like, but that's okay. And this, like what?
Yeah,
what?
Exactly. You kind of have to, look at both sides and when I wrote it, the song's called "I Was Gonna Be" that we're talking about with Rachel, and I started writing that song just for myself because it was something I thought I needed to get out of me. And honestly, I had no fantasies of this song ever seeing the light of day. This was something I thought no one is ever going to sing this song. I probably won't ever sing this song. But I kept seeing people on that subject only hearing one side. There's actually two souls involved, and no one is hearing from this soul. What would this soul say? and
Yeah.
that's that song is basically, it's basically, giving a voice to the voiceless. And
Yeah.
and so that's the thing is it, we have that and just and then Rachel, when we met her, it was like it was a God thing for me because I was halfway I was in the middle of writing that song when Rachel was introduced to me. And it just hit me like, this is the voice of this song. And I said, she may not want to do it. I sat her down two or three times and said, the first time I played it for her, she said, I have to do that song. She said, I have to do that. And I set her down two or three times saying, hey, I want you to understand two different times that there are people that's going to maybe hate you for this song. There are people that's going to, think you're brave for singing this song, but know that there's a visceral reaction. I want you to know this, and you don't have to sing this song. And she said, her answer was, I don't want to sing the same songs that girls my age sing. I want to sing songs that go deeper than what the people my age go these days. So,
wow,
I love that. Well, good for her.
Yeah.
Old soul.
That's an artist right there.
Yeah. That's what we used to call an artist. It wasn't like
right.
someone who actually sings something they believe and is going through, or is knows people who goes through. That used to just be called an artist.
Yeah.
We forget that. Merle Haggard used to talk about how old he was. He used to call, no one will ever do that nowadays. He used to talk about, vulnerability, about being, not being able to, put whiskey down or women or whatever, and being that person. Leonard Skinner used to talk about every song that a lot of songs they talk about was being on the road because that was their life.
Yeah.
And you believed it because that was their life. So it's,
and Merle Haggard controversial stuff. I mean, wasn't Okie from Muskogee a controversial anti-war?
Oh yeah.
Song? I mean, this is what artists are. Like, artists having a freaking opinion.
Yeah.
They have an opinion, and then you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. What gets you invited to the party may get you thrown out of the party.
And you have to know
Toby Keith. Yeah, like Toby Keith, it skyrocketed, I think, a lot of his career, like with courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, and Daryl Worley with Have You Forgotten, like took them to a whole nother stratosphere of their careers. Dixie Chicks opened their mouth and it tanked their, at least, country career. So,
and that's the whole go either way. Both ways. The First Amendment going both ways. I think it was their right if they to say whatever they wanted to say. It's also their fans' right do not want a part of that and roll over their CDs in the street, which some of them did. So it goes both ways,
Yeah,
it's free speech, but not free from consequence speech. I think that's part of the reason, like Maren Morris, where she's, I guess, disavowed country now, is probably because she wasn't liking the reaction she was getting from the by and large country fan. Obviously, not true of everybody. It's not a monolith, but it's like there's. So I can understand why a lot of artists say, I just want to stay out of that. Right. I just want to make people have a party for a couple hours and not think about that, which I think is totally valid as well.
Yeah. Well, like David Lee Roth put that the best. He's like, listen, man, this is a party band. You got a message? Use Western Union. That's what he would say. But you're very clear on what that party's going to be. You know what I mean? Yeah. And what that party's about. And I think by and large
but that's their brand.
That's their brand. That's right. And like not political. We're not.
Which is
this
fine.
is a party.
Yeah.
Party. Yeah. Especially when it's as cool as Van Halen, man.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Or, as Michael Jordan said one time, "Hey, man, Republicans buy shoes too."
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Everybody's money is green. That's
Yeah.
right.
Exactly.
You know. But hey,
So-
let's
Yeah.
I got some questions for you on the business end of stuff. And I'm just fascinated with
Like, how many times do you expect the company to get audited every year?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, here's a little something. Before we ever put a song out, I'm not going to mention any names of companies, but we had a distribution deal with these people. Huge, big distribution company, very well known in town, and we were trying to get we spent probably 6 weeks negotiating a contract, all of that. We did it. I knew the guys that were up, that were heads of it, and they were like minded, and I was like, this is awesome. And so we were supposed to have a project manager for our releases. We could not get a hold of they just would not call us back, and we had releases coming out, and we're like, hey, what's going on here? And they said, well, maybe it'd be a better fit if we gave you this person instead of this person. Okay, this person. We had one meeting. Next thing you know, we can't get a hold of them. And finally, I called my buddy who's the head guy, and I said, hey, what's going on here, man? We can't do business like this. He goes, let me make a couple of calls. And I get it was the same time that all this was going on with try this in a small town, and there was a big thing, and basically he come back and he's like, Chris, he goes, I can't sit here and tell you the people that the middle people that are actually going to be working your record are way on the other side. And he goes, I can't sit here and tell you that they're going to work your record like they would someone else. And I said, well, I can't be there then. Why did we do all this? Why, I'm not going to give you a huge.
It wasn't like it was a surprise. Yeah, it wasn't like it was a surprise.
So they're just going to be shelved. You're telling me that our songs are just going to be shelved, and they hadn't even heard a song yet. I'm like, at least give me a chance to piss you off. Don't take that away from me. You're
That's
cheating
right.
both of us here.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
anyway, so we ended up, moving. But it's like, and what's funny is like I said, that they didn't even know what we were going to put out. They just Googled me or whatever, and just made that decision. And it's just so crazy. It's
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's some of that's coming back around again. There's a lot of people going hardcore on certain very left of center or right of center stances, and it's
it's that time
I think
of year.
historically. Yeah, I think historically our country the pendulum swings back, to more moderation.
Yeah.
And it's like, alcohol. It's good in moderation, right? Like, but hey, so let's talk about just promotion on this stuff. What is well, first of all, let me ask you this: like, how do you feel about and this is a nuanced question, Chris. How do you feel about in terms of, is the juice worth the squeeze? In terms of radio promotion for an artist with a big brand, versus radio promotion for like a new sign that you guys just got, a debut
Yeah,
release from a debut artist? Do you have opinions on that, and what
a
are they?
little bit. The thing about it is that you do, in my opinion, have to treat those differently,
Yeah.
especially if you have, with us, we kind of have ends on the media side, and what we
Mhm.
found, you know, that we were on some very high end, um, some high end, um, podcasts and
Mhm.
had some strategic articles done.
Hmm.
And let me tell you, like I said, we got number 9 with no radio play, not one
Mhm.
single radio play.
Say that one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got number 9 Billboard digital with no radio play.
So what he's talking about, y'all, is sales,
Yeah,
right? Or spins. It should
yeah,
be consumption.
right.
Now consumption is measured not just by sales, but by spins. So this isn't, uh, you can have a number 1 at Billboard or a number 9 at Billboard with radio spins, meaning that
Yeah.
you got the 9th most radio
Mm-hmm.
spins that week, which is, was a very, very. I think that metric before streaming was a bankable
Yeah.
metric of market penetration,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, even before streaming, it wasn't always right.
No.
Like you had, if you guys have ever read the book Hitmen, where they talk about the syndicate,
Cash box.
after and in the wake of the
Payola.
of the payola scandal,
Yeah.
what happened there and how that got out of control. But I think one of the key things was their power to get a song on the radio regardless. Let's just say that regardless, ...
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It resulted in, I think it was a, God, who was the artist that did You're So Vain?
Carly Simon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Carly Simon. It was a Carly Simon song. She had a number 1 hit song that sold 6,000 copies.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't always like it's still, the song still had to resonate with that, But you're talking about a number 9 on consumption. So that week was the 9th most consumed song, and it was never promoted
Nope.
on the radio.
Nope. And that's the thing.
How did you do it?
Well,
Is there more details that you
there
can give
is.
aside from the media?
Well, we figured out a little bit that no one really knows the mixture of how, because it's all mixed in now. When something is charts, especially on Billboard,
Mhm.
there is a secret mixture of downloads, radio spins, um, streams. There's a thing, and no one really knows. They don't. They don't really tell you what is more important than
How it's weighted and
And so, but we found on the digital side that downloads actually move the needle quite a bit.
Mhm.
Wow.
As opposed to streams. And I've always said, I was going to say this too, is nowadays there's artists that are seeing streaming as a money making thing, and it until it gets better in paying royalties, you can't depend on that. Streaming is a tool, in my opinion. It's more of a tool to go and get gigs, to see where your audience is, to get brand recognition, to get out.
It's the new radio airplay.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the new radio airplay, because that's what radio was. Artists never made money off spins on the radio. The artist didn't get signed unless they were a writer, but that's a separate income stream.
Yeah.
So if they're just the singer. But what that did was that raised awareness. So now my ticket prices go up. Now I know I can go play Peoria because we're big there, and that sort of, and sell merch. And that's where I make my money, is merch and tickets.
Well, and a lot of people don't realize, back in the day too. Well, I mean, they still do it, but people who get radio play is they have booking agents. They'll see that this artist gets there's a threshold. Once it goes past a certain amount of radio plays in a certain region, that tells them to, hey, we need to try to book a show here, because that means that this many people saw if they're in this area and they've played this song so many times, it's likely that so many people have heard this song and knows who this person is. So that's historically how that's been done. But now you have things like compare this for a second. I think this is the future. What I'm about to talk about is you have radio, and comparing these radios is where you put something on the radio, it goes out randomly to anyone who's listening. And wherever you are, and it's a huge reach, don't get me wrong, but it's random, whoever's listening that day at that time, and they come back,
and anonymous,
and they will or won't go and see that person in concert the next time they come in. Okay, compare that to, like, they have geofencing now, where let's say I just signed Jason Aldean, and we're wanting, we're doing an album on him, and we want to get people who know Jason Aldean to come to his, to buy his album and do whatever. Okay, with geofencing, and it's expensive right now, but you can go in on a computer and say, okay, 2 months ago, Jason Aldean played this arena in wherever on January 2nd. They were there between 5 o'clock and 8 o'clock. Well, you can go in and draw a circle around that arena, and a time, January 2nd, from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Everyone who walks in that circle, you can target them, their phone, and send them, next time you do a song or whatever, that goes directly to them. Okay, that's not the crazy part. The crazy part is you can go back 2 years. I can go back to every place that Jason Aldean has played in 2 years and do that same thing.
Oof.
And you can, and so you're not going random.
This makes my nipples hard. Is that wrong?
You're not random anymore. Okay, you're shooting with a rifle and not a shotgun. Second Amendment. So that's the thing, is that's a whole different thing. That you're talking about putting out, and as a citizen, it scares the crap out of me.
Yeah.
As a citizen,
You went to this rally because this politician showed up and we know you were there.
yeah.
Or we know who was there, even if you don't
Absolutely.
know exactly who, but now we can.
That's scary. But you're not going to stop that. Like people are going to use that as a tool and are using it as a tool. And right now it's expensive. But the more people have this, it's coming down where regular people can use it and regular companies can use it. And next thing you know, Jason Aldean, we do an album on him, and everyone who's been to a Jason Aldean concert in 2 years gets the information. Hey, this person that you put down money to see is going to be back in your town, or he has a new product out, and those people and people in marketing know are way more valuable than someone who's just clicking. And that's another thing that we do that we're trying to do is know the difference between a follower and a fan. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of people who don't realize those are two different things. Someone who just clicks and says, "Oh, that's cool," click. And that's a different person. I mean, it can be the same person, but that can be a different person, someone who actually will put down money and buy your merch.
Man, with the geo-fencing real quick, another way I would think would be super important, be like, yeah, Jason Aldean, he wants to go back to people that have gone to his shows for the past 2 years. But what if a new artist is coming along going, Jason Aldean fans will love me. They don't know me yet, but they will love me. So I'm going to go geo-fence all of Jason Aldean's shows around the country for the past 2 years because they're going to love me. So I'm going to market to them as well.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be just you for your own shows. It can be like, if I could open for Jason Aldean, they would eat me up. They would love it. Okay, so I'm going to geo-fence Aldean's people. Because they're more likely to like me.
Yep. On that note, like, okay, so that would be something that, the opening slot thing, right? That's kind of what I try to, when I'm talking to my artists, I'm like, okay, look, it's not about what you sound like. It's about who's at the party. You know what I mean? And if the people at the party are Jason Aldean, are the same people that would love your music, even though you don't sound like Jason Aldean, right? If they're going to love you, then that's how they've identified themselves as Aldean fans, right? Which is fascinating. But what's interesting is on the digital, before social media and before streaming, before geofencing, right? You just have to put them on the road with that artist, but now we can do more than that. Like if we can't get them on the road with that artist, to what you just described was, man, we can market to them and turn them on to artists. And because it's digital and there is no tyranny of space like there is on terrestrial radio with a playlist, right? Where there's only so much an iconic artist that a label's going to do to like help out a new artist at that label, because it's like, I'll take them on tour, but I'm also getting like a whole bunch of label tour support that are offsetting my costs. So I'm putting more money in my pocket.
Let me help this person that's wanting to take my place.
Precisely, right? To take my real estate on the playlist, and then all of a sudden I'm freaking irrelevant, right? But that doesn't exist on the digital world. So you could have situations where, I think about the different things that the different deals now that can be made because the threat of the tyranny of space doesn't exist. How about, this is wild, but a lot of people aren't aware that like some of the Tom Cruise marriages have been like, they were business deals,
right?
And so it's not unlike a situation in the music industry that we're all aware of, like American Idol, right? We're going to put you on this platform and you're going to get a brand name, okay? And if you can figure out how to launch off of this platform, because you're going to have an insane amount of exposure, then you're going to get a career, and we're going to take a piece of that for a certain amount of time.
Honestly, I've
right?
always said this. I was like, the best thing you can do, for American Idol or something like that. And I know people probably come at me because people love that show, but the best thing you can do is not win, because if you win, you are hooked to this, honestly, a terrible contract.
I think it's the top 10, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it may be. I don't know.
think the best thing you can do is not get in the top 10.
Because you are hooked. Because I mean, it's. Don't get me wrong. It's you don't get better exposure than that. But if you, I mean, there comes a place to where I think it's, who was it? The Carrie Underwood, that she didn't get out of her contract for, it was like a decade.
That's the contract, 10 years.
Yeah.
50.
It was crazy.
They take 50%,
and she
for 10 years.
And after she got big, they made bank on her, but because
So imagine an artist being able to, and like an iconic, or like a Tim McGraw, right, or a Jason Aldean, being able to open up another cash register and being able to genuinely help an artist, knowing that help isn't threatening their status and their career and their relevancy, by digitally, what if they're singing a song on a video thing, and we're shooting out using that geofencing, shooting out this notification to all these people, and here's Tim McGraw saying, y'all, I want to turn you on to this person right here, and for Tim McGraw to do that, right, I'm going to take a little piece, like I'm going to get a little piece of the action, or a straight up check or something like that. I mean, if you get a rapper, like if you want Snoop Dogg to be featured on your song, it's $250,000 for him to walk in the door.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because of that brand stuff. So what a fascinating new way to market, where, because it's not radio. Right?
Yeah.
And
I think it's a whole new avenue. And here's going back to Rachel. We had, there were some articles that come out that helped us a little bit when that song first came out. We went on huge podcast. We were I think we were 19 in Apple downloads when we went on. At the end of that podcast, 2-hour podcast, and it was Tim Pool was a podcast. We were 9.
Wow. Wow.
And then there was, an article, a Breitbart article or whatever, that come out after that and got us in top 5 downloads, Apple downloads. And that's all just articles, no radio. That's just us, escalating how we do that. By the way, guys, I want to talk about something that's very important. Can we acknowledge how good my hair looks right now?
Dude.
Like how shiny it is. It's
your hair always looks awesome to me.
It's distracting.
Glistening.
So
glistening. The way that the lamp in the hotel room reflects off
it looks really healthy.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, I double condition.
What shampoo do you use?
Now would be a good time to mention our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Speaking of cross promotion.
Yes.
Sorry,
Oh my God.
But yeah.
So have you guys ventured into like digital marketing at all? Like any kind of paid traffic?
A little, yeah.
And how has that worked for you?
Yeah, it's interesting to. I'll tell you what we're really looking into now is, influencers. Getting people, just because I had this conversation this week actually about there's a difference between being associated with a company and being associated with a person that is the face of a company, which influencers, I mean, they're still, there's a huge company. Some of them are, you know, people don't
Yeah.
realize that, you know, whether they, like him or not, Tim Pool, I mean, he has tens of thousands of members paying him a, a monthly membership. Like he's getting well over six figures a month just in, so he's a, people are like that have just a huge following. It's a business. But
Yeah.
it's people like that person. It isn't like, Apple, or it isn't a brand.
Right.
It's a brand, but it's
How about
around
Ryan
this
Reynolds?
person.
Ryan Reynolds is a billionaire now.
Yeah, because
A billionaire.
people see your face, and they have, there's a difference. And I think that using influencers and things like that especially when it comes to music, is a really good way to do that. Where normally, I mean, radio historically is the most expensive thing you can do as a record label or an artist. Like a radio promotion, it's crazy how expensive it is. I mean,
and the price hasn't come down,
no,
even though the effects
all.
have.
Not at all.
And you have no idea who likes your
Same
song.
price.
And I don't want to, I don't want to, talk down to radio. Radio has bought my house. So I don't, I have a soft place in my heart for radio. Don't get me wrong. But it's, there's a whole other world out there when it comes to marketing that I think is underutilized, especially, and I think they're learning now. You have Sony and Warner doing that, using influencers and using things like that go directly to the listener, and not just, hey, this is our conglomerate brand, and when it's actually a person talking about it, saying, hey, I really love this song, touched me, and a lot of them won't do that unless it does, like you can send them a song or whatever. But I think that's the future too, is you have people who have huge followings like that on TikTok or wherever. And
well, it'd be like the old school DJs that had the cred. They were the curators.
Yes.
They would, the tastemakers. They would be like, dude, I'm spinning this on my station because I think it's cool. And people like, oh, Wolfman Jack likes it, I like it too, or whatever. And it's kind of the new DJ in a way. They sign off. They're the tastemakers and the curators.
Yeah, and
right?
like I said, it's more personal too. It's a person that they can if they're subscribed to these people, they probably like them. So it's it's a different thing. It goes a little deeper, I think, than just putting out an ad. As a sponsor, to everyone. So I think that is the future. I think that's going to get more and more prevalent in marketing, is using influencers and using actual people to reach people. I know it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, Chris, I got to tell you, like, I want to tell you something, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. This is like an inspirational conversation, because you're a maverick, not just from your fight to stand up for free speech and to do what, say what you feel and really push that forward. But you are an outlier in the record business, because the record business is to your point, like largely built, it's all built on radio, right? And so when we look at somebody with the track record that you have, a hit songwriter, right? There's a bunch in this town, there's a bunch in LA, there's a bunch in New York. They were huge producers, huge songwriters, huge musicians that then went into executive positions at labels, and they're doing this. And their houses, to your point, were paid for either directly from publishing money from their songs or indirectly because they're getting a paycheck from a record label that is, getting so much of that money from radio spins and stuff. Their identity is attached to it. Right. And so the idea of moving forward, looking forward, and really seriously going down a rabbit hole like digital, where it means, at least the reaction is, I'm going to be irrelevant because what makes me important in this town is the hit songs I've had on radio and the relationships I have with radio and the miracles that I've been able to literally perform for an artist because of my stance and my leverage with radio and my relationships. And just to be able to walk away from all that and say, the world is turning, let's focus on this, takes balls.
Well,
and so good for you.
I appreciate that.
Like,
and it's scary. When I first come on to Baste
damn
Records,
straight it is. That's called courage, my friend.
Courage. I was like, should I do this? I was like, I don't. When we first started, I thought, man, but the more I thought about it, I was like, if we don't actually, the cancel culture and everything is just getting so crazy that people pretty soon you're not going to be able to sing a song about God. You're not going to be able to sing if you don't want to. You're not going to be able to sing a song about anything that you believe in if it doesn't fit this criteria. And that is so bad for music and so bad for culture. And I think that we're losing as you take away rights, you also chop culture. And next thing you know, you're gonna be down to this, and you're gonna be in a cage, a culture cage, because that's the whole, all the way on the left, all the way on the right. We were talking about politics earlier. It doesn't matter. It's if you're not able to actually say what you believe, we're the last bastion of free speech. Music is one of those where people can come together and people can say that song sings my life. And if it is singing the same, if you're forced to sing the same song over and over and over again, everybody's going to live the same life.
Yeah. It's not going to resonate with anybody.
Exactly.
But, I just to go deeper on my compliment to you, one of the last record meetings I had, label meetings, the head of A&R was like, Johnny, when you pull this thing off, man, he said, you're going to make a couple people in this building look really bad, and God bless him. He was talking about the couple people that were charged with coming up with some sort of digital plan for their artists. But what hit me over the head was like, oh no, when I pull this off, your whole radio promo department is going to crap a purple Twinkie. You know what I mean? Because they've all got houses that they're still trying to pay off and kids they're trying to put through college and lives that they're trying to lead. And if all of a sudden there's a huge amount of success over here, like you've done with Rachel Holt, right, without any radio promo, if you can make that repeatable and just as reliable as terrestrial radio was in terms of a pipeline for promoting artists, holy crap, right? Like you're in a different situation, but imagine that you're ahead of one of the majors, and that's a mutiny that you're going to have. So you're kind of like chocked, to use your words, in that cage. I can't push out of it because how am I going to go from a beloved, benevolent leader to being ousted overnight because I've got the whole, everybody's against me because they don't want to lose their jobs.
Right.
And it's such a change, you know. I mean, and that's human nature. I mean, it's that if Yellow Cab, which is the largest brand name on the planet at one point for getting people from one place to another worldwide, had, went down the road of, wow, times are changing, we should create an app like Uber and compete. They would have spent a tenth of the money and probably still had the market share. But what's the reaction? Eliminate it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I see you as one of the people with your track record, with the attachment that you have and the blessings that you've gotten from radio and the identity that you've created from your talent being broadcast on radio and all that's done for you. And now you're just totally adapting, man. And that's amazing. Like, don't stop doing that.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, the record business is a better place with you in it.
Well, I appreciate that. Sometimes I wonder, it's like how I have no idea. Sometimes I think I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying to make. I'm just trying to put great music out there that says things that I think is important. And so, and that's another thing that for me, when I came on to Baste Records, I said, if I'm going to be part of this, the music has to be great. I said, because what people do, if you have music that is hooked with ideology, what happens is they say, okay, I have this to say, and I'm going to write this song, and the craft of songwriting and the production and the singing comes second and third and fourth.
Yeah.
And I said, everybody's doing some meme song, everybody's doing some, fast written thing and putting it out because it's time. I said, what I want to do, I just want to make great music first that just happens to say what we believe. That's a different thing than what's out there right now. And so just bringing that integrity and trying to just make great music. And, I've been very blessed that, to know some of the best musicians and songwriters in the world happen to be my friends. So, so I want to bring them in and just make great music. That's what it's all about. It's all I've ever wanted to do. So anyway, so I'm still doing that.
We were talking earlier.
Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see. I'd have to ask somebody, but sometimes
we were talking earlier in the show about like the difference between like a singer and an artist,
Yeah.
And what you just said, spoken like a true record man as opposed to a suit.
I don't really have a suit. If I have a suit,
if I ever saw you wearing a suit, I would beat you up if I saw you wearing a suit.
The only suit Chris is going to have is
I would beat you up in front of your friends and your mama. Like, But anyway, hey, that's a perfect cherry on top to this show. I think what you just said. Basterecords.com, BASTE, right?
Yeah.
And what can we plug for you right now before we sign off?
Well,
it's coming out in October.
Yeah, we got some really cool stuff coming out. We got another song with Rachel that's going to be coming out. She's got a song called Crush right now that's out. She's got one called Ammunition that's going to be coming out. That's going to be really cool. I'm really proud of. And Chad Prather, we have a thing, like I said, that a song that's coming out with Chad that John Rich is singing harmonies on. It's featuring John. That's talking about some really important stuff. And we also we got a couple of things that are going to be wild cards that I think that like I said, I anything that I have anything to do with is it's not going to be the meme type things. It's I want to actually put the craft in it as much as I can, but still not get in the way. Not be too serious, but just like I said, just try to make music that that is professional and touches people, that also that also says something. And I personally think we need that. Not everything's going to be some big political thing, at all. But I'm not going to be scared to do that when something's great. So
Awesome.
There you go.
so thank you guys so
There
much
you
for
go.
having me.
Heck yeah,
Well,
man.
thank you, Chris, and thanks for moving your travel plans around to the airport and everything to make this happen too. I know that you made some changes to do that. We appreciate that greatly, man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, guys, that brings us to the end of another C.L.I.M.B episode. Make sure that you follow the podcast and tell a friend about it. Okay, this podcast exists because we want you to win. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.
Who ride a greyhound all night